Time now for big breaking news coming in from Qatar this time. Explosions have reportedly been heard over Doha. Reports coming in citing Israeli officials say that Iran has launched 6 missiles towards US bases in Qatar. As we speak, more reports are coming in of explosions being heard in Doha. Qatar decided to temporarily suspend air traffic in the country today as a precautionary measure due to regional security concerns. Authorities are closing and continuously monitoring the situation, assessing developments in coordination with regional and international partners. Qatar's airspace shutdown coincides with Iran's threats to retaliate against the United States following US strikes on its nuclear facilities over the weekend. Earlier, the US Embassy in Qatar issued a warning to Americans in the Gulf country to take shelter in place until further notice as tensions in the region escalated. The British government followed the US in advising its citizens to shelter in place in Qatar. While citing the US warning earlier on Monday, the UK government also said in a statement that out of an abundance of caution, we recommend that British nationals in Qatar shelter in place until further notice. And this is the latest coming in from Qatar, and explosions were heard in Doha, and this followed the temporary suspension of air traffic in the country today as a precautionary measure due to regional security concerns. Authorities are closely and continuously monitoring the situation, assessing developments in coordination with regional and international partners. And this latest salvo of strikes by Iran in US air bases in the Gulf states was predicted, and now it is happening. And this is according to Israeli officials who say that Qatar or Iran has started off with Qatar. Qatar's airspace shutdown coincides with Iran's threats to retaliate against the United States following US strikes on its nuclear facilities over the weekend. Earlier, the US Embassy in Qatar issued a warning to Americans in the Gulf to shelter in place until further notice as tensions in the region spiral. And the British government and the UK government followed suit by advising its citizens to take shelter in Qatar. Once again, this is breaking news coming in from Qatar, and explosions have reportedly been heard in Doha, and this is according to an Israeli official who says that some US bases in Qatar have been struck by Iran, and this comes after Qatar issued an advisory to American citizens to take shelter in place in Qatar. Susan Tehrani is our correspondent in New York. She's now joining us on the phone. Susan, this is escalating by the minute. The situation is becoming hard to tell, but considering what is happening in Qatar, this was predicted, but it's now happening.
Yes, so it's also important to note that the United States had evacuated all of its aircraft and military personnel from the Al Udeid base about 4 or 5 days ago. So we'll have to, first of all, get confirmation that these missiles did actually hit the U.S. bases from Qatar airspace, and second of all, what the damage assessment was. Some believe that Iran had to retaliate symbolically. Others believe this may be the first of many to come. Nonetheless, President Trump is expected to meet his national security team in about 10 minutes' time at 1 p.m. local time at the White House. The main focus of that meeting, we were told, was to do damage assessment on those 3 nuclear sites that the United States launched attacks on. But of course, with the latest developments, we'll be hearing more from the White House. I just want to say that we're also getting reports that the United Arab Emirates is possibly closing its airspace as well.
Actually, that's what I was about to tell our viewers, because the United Arab Emirates is closely monitoring the ongoing regional developments and is continuously assessing the situation. UAE government spokesperson and the White House and also the Department of Defense are aware of and closely monitoring potential threats to Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, which you just mentioned, Susan. Which other regions or which other countries has the United States issued its advisories to?
Yeah, the United States has issued those advisories, of course, just a few days ago to any American anywhere in the Middle East region. Really, they said that they could be potential targets and to exercise caution. We did hear from the Secretary of Homeland Security also about 24 hours ago, saying that they are monitoring potential sleeper cells here in the United States for retaliation. And also we're getting reports right now, the United States is warning of possible cyber attacks in American soil as well. So as you can see, everyone is on high alert. It's also important to note that there are thousands of American nationals who live in Israel. So that's a potential concern for the United States as well.
Even as we talk about being alert, I understand that America is also on alert.
Yes, that's very true.
All right. So we'll keep our eyes, or keep your eyes out on the latest developments, Susan. We'll have to leave it there. Susan, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.